As we continue our journey through Mission and Missionaries 1931 to 1961, we come across Lynnean Nelson. Lynnean was born on March 18, 1904 in Preston, Washington, to a Swedish Baptist missionary preacher. She grew up at Lakeside Baptist Church in Oakland, California. Miss Nelson graduated from the University of California with a B.A. degree and an education degree. She continued her studies at the Baptist Berkeley School of Divinity and graduated with an M.A. degree. Prior to her missionary appointment, she served as a teacher and principal in elementary education, and in 1935 she had been named the Helen Barrett Montgomery Memorial Missionary and sailed for East China. And on arrival, she took responsibility to the work of the Chiang Mai Girls' School at Quinhua, China. By 1938, war conditions forced her to leave Quinhua, and once in Shanghai, she took a teaching position at Shanghai University, and while at the university, she also worked in social and relief efforts in the city. In 1940, she returned to the United States on furlough and took up her work in doctorate in education at the University of California. During that time, she was the Dean of Women at the Berkeley School of Divinity until 1946. After 3 years back in China, the political climate became more threatening, to the point that she was forced to leave once again. And upon her return, the Women's Baptist Foreign Mission Society sent her to the Philippines, where she took the position as Dean of the School of Graduate Studies. She also served on the faculty as Professor of Bible, English, and Education, and as the Director of the Teacher Training Program. And in the school years 1956 to 57 and 65 to 66, she served in the university as acting president. In 1969, she retired from the mission field. However, she continued to use her talents at the School of Nursing, the Hospital Bautista in Nicaragua, the Union Bible College in India, and then back at Bacone College in Oklahoma. Next, we have the Dawsons. In 1923, Mr. and Mrs. George Dawson moved to Rochester, where George took a position as comptroller at McCurdy and Company. That same year, they joined Lake Avenue and became actively involved for the next 30 years. They were particularly interested in the Orient, a place that they had studied when their two sons were in service during World War II, and heightened by a trip that they made to the Orient. But their specific interest in Japan was formed by the relationship between LABC, Ishihara-san, and the kindergarten training school she founded in Tokyo. George taught English to the students who were preparing to be kindergarten teachers, as well as business professionals looking to improve their English language. And Mrs. Dawson also taught English at the elementary level and offered piano lessons as well. The house they occupied in Japan was used for Bible study and Sunday school classes, so the Dawsons helped where needed. Next we have George Frank, born in October 1935 to parents who were active at LABC. Following high school, he went enrolled in Bucknell College, where he established religious training program at the campus radio station. And during summer breaks, he worked in the migrant ministry program. Early in his time at Bucknell, he made the decision to devote his talents and skills to those parts of the world with the greatest need. After graduating with his engineering degree, he applied to the American Baptist Foreign Mission Society, which appointed him to the mission field in the Belgian Congo. And before departing there, he applied to the YMCA Trade and Technical School in New York City for courses in auto mechanics. And while in New York City, he also studied the French language in preparation for his duties on the mission field. When George arrived in Africa, he took up residence at the Sonabata mission field, and initially he was responsible for the maintenance of 6 shortwave radio stations, which connected 6 mission hospitals. Some of the hospitals did not have regular doctors, and communication was essential. He also took the mechanical training to native Congolese to provide support. After 3 years in the Belgian Congo, he returned to the U.S. on furlough. He immediately enrolled in Harvard University to work on his master's degree in education. His hope was that eventually a technical school would be established in the Congo where he would be able to teach a larger group of Congolese. In 1960, George and other foreigners were forced out of the Congo. He helped evacuate many American families during the uprisings before he himself was actually chased on foot to a waiting helicopter. Before his evacuation, he taught science for 1 year in southern Rhodesia. In 1963, he married Miss Allie Elizabeth Gardner of Muncie, Indiana. Allie was a graduate of the Ball Memorial Hospital School of Nursing. She too had entered the mission field, serving as a nurse in southern Rhodesia. The couple then moved to Boston for further education with the hope that they would return to the mission field in Congo. And last we have Miss Verna Voles, born and educated in Rochester. Her family, parents Bill and Ann, and sister Marianne Steele, were actively engaged in LABC. Following high school, she enrolled at the University of Rochester and graduated with a sociology degree in 1940. From the U of R, she went to Union Theological School in New York City, graduating with a Master's of Theology. Upon graduation, she joined the Foreign Division of the YWCA and accepted an assignment in Liberia, West Africa. Her work there was focused on the building of the YWCA. After her time in Liberia, she was assigned to the YMCA program in Burma and Thailand, and in Thailand she made her home in the River Kwai family camp. When she returned in 1966, she continued to live at the camp, and although retired, she continued to teach English to staff at a Bangkok hotel. She also became engaged in the Bangkok Riding and Polo Club, where she taught riding to children of U.S. foreign workers.